Press the circular knob A to begin, or the rectangular Help button to find out more about LTV English. London. Some sights and sounds reported by our London correspondent. Los Angeles. The taste of this dynamic city brought to you by our man in Los Angeles. Society. Current topical issues on a variety of subjects. Press the round knob A when you see the topic you wish to work on. London. Some sights and sounds reported by our London correspondent. Los Angeles. The taste of this... Los Angeles. The taste of this... Society. Los Angeles. One of the world's most fabulous streets. Los Angeles. A truly visual, physical...
Now get ready to listen to the text.
Fancy a trip down to the sea? What about a visit to Venice? No, not Venice, Italy. Venice, California. Venice is south of Santa Monica and north of Marina del Rey on the Pacific coast. It was created in the early 1900s by millionaire Abbot Kinney. This was to be a luxurious residential quarter for the rich. There were Rococo-style buildings, artificial canals, and picturesque bridges. Authentic gondolas with gondoliers were even imported. Kinney's rich man's paradise, however, soon became a hygienic catastrophe. The canals became polluted, bringing disease and disaster. The rich people left, and the houses were replaced by warehouses. Venice quickly fell into decay and has since been the hangout of numerous minority groups, such as beatniks and hippies. It has always had a large artistic community, however, and it was here that the LA mural movement began in the 1960s. On the oceanfront boardwalk, the walls are now covered by these artists' wall paintings. In this colorful atmosphere, the Angelenos come to exchange ideas and express themselves, for the greater part, with their bodies. Kids on roller skates listen to their Walkmans. Some dance. Others perform acrobatic tricks. Skateboarders attempt daring feats. Musicians, artists, circus acts, and one-man shows. They're all here to entertain the passers-by.
Now answer the following questions on the text.
There are more than one Venice. Where is Venice? Venice is in the center. Venice is beside the sea. Venice is in Santa Monica. Venice was created in the early 1900s. Who was Venice initially built for? Venice was initially built for beatniks. Venice was initially built for wealthy people. Venice was initially built for fishermen. Why was Venice a disaster? Venice was a disaster because there were too many tourists. Venice was a disaster because the canals were polluted. Venice was a disaster because the houses were too expensive. Venice has since been the home for various minority groups. What type of people live here now? Scientists live here. Film stars live here. Artists live here. Murals of all styles cover the ocean front walls. Venice is now a meeting place for the young. What's the favorite sport in Venice? Mountain climbing is the favorite sport in Venice. Roller skating is the famous sport in Venice. Horse riding is the favorite sport in Venice. Skateboarders, musicians, artists, circus acts and one-man shows all come here to entertain the passerby.
Now get ready to listen to the text.
Fancy a trip down to the sea? What about a visit to Venice? No, not Venice, Italy. Venice, California. Venice is south of Santa Monica and north of Marina del Rey on the Pacific coast. It was created in the early 1900s by millionaire Abbot Kinney. This was
Unfortunately, you've made some mistakes, but now you will have the chance to correct them.
There are more than one Venice.
To the question,
Where is Venice?
you answered
Venice is in Santa Monica.
London, some sights and sounds. 2,000 years of London's history in just over 1 minute. Finding where you want to go and getting there with the minimum of fuss. One of the most attractive and unique features of the city. The ethnic origins of London's multicultural population. An enjoyable alternative to shopping in London's crowded department stores. You can either press the circular knob A when you see the document you wish to work on, or press the corresponding number in order to have direct access to the one you have selected. If you have chosen the 10th document, press 0. A quick look behind the scenes in London's Theatreland. Inside one of London's latest cultural attractions, some of the more colourfully dressed Londoners in their natural habitat. London as seen from the River Thames. Some of the places associated with the English language's greatest writers. You can either press the circular knob A when you see the document you wish to work on, or press the corresponding number in order to have direct access to the one you have selected. If you have chosen the 10th document, press 0. 2,000 years of London's history in just over 1 minute. Finding where you want to go and getting there with the minimum of fuss. One of the most attractive and unique features of the city. The ethnic origins of London's multicultural population. An enjoyable alternative to
Now get ready to listen to the text.
I very much like markets, and London's flea markets are particularly good. My favourite market of all is Portobello Road, which is why I'm taking the tube to Notting Hill on a cold Saturday morning in March. Once you get there, it's not too difficult to find the market. Just follow the crowd. You can find anything you want here, from second-hand fur coats to valuable antiques. Watching the collectors and stall holders in action can be as much fun as buying something yourself. But I'm particularly interested in the stalls selling antique toys. When I was a student, I had a friend who owned a stall here, and I used to pass my Saturdays trying to sell toy trains and soldiers to collectors from America, Australia, Germany and Holland. My friend would tour Europe looking for toys to stock his stall on the Portobello Road. But if antique toys aren't quite your cup of tea, then why not look around for something else to start collecting, such as these hand-painted tennis shoes? Finally, if you've had enough of wandering around, why not pop into a pub for a quick beer? But careful, you have to be over 18 to buy anything alcoholic.
Now answer the following questions on the text.
Where to find one of London's best street markets? Where is the speaker at the moment? At Portobello Market, on the tube, travelling to Notting Hill, at Notting Hill Tube Station. No prizes for guessing where these people are going. What does the speaker like most about the market? Watching the collectors and stall holders. He is most interested in the stalls selling antique toys, buying something for himself. Not a bad way of spending a Saturday for a student. Where did the speaker's friend buy the antiques for his stall? He would travel around Europe, all over the world. He bought them from other collectors. An unusual collection could start here. Where does the speaker suggest visiting after the market? Finding another market, going home. He suggests going to a pub.
Now get ready to listen to the text.
I very much like markets, and London's flea markets are particularly good. My favourite market of all is Portobello Road, which is why I'm taking the tube to Notting Hill on a cold Saturday morning in March. Once you get there, it's not too difficult to find the market. Just follow the crowd. You can find anything you want here, from second-hand fur coats to valuable antiques. Watching the collectors and stall holders in action can be as much fun as buying some. Watching the collector.
Unfortunately, you've made some mistakes, but now you will have the chance to correct them.
Where to find one of London's best street markets?
Variety of subjects. Los Angeles, society, culture. The role of the media and public awareness. Two opposing views of ways to solve the drugs problem. How current events might affect the allocation of aid to developing countries. Is not voting a democratic choice? French attitudes towards the creation of the European single market. You can either press the circular knob A when you see the document you wish to work on, or press the corresponding number in order to have direct access to the one you have selected. If you have chosen the 10th document, press 0. The advantages and drawbacks of our modern multi-channel TV network system. One of the most preoccupying socio-cultural issues in Europe and North America today. For some people, advertising is entertaining and informative. For others, one of the most preoccupying socio-cultural issues in Europe. The role of the machines of the future, which will definitively transform man's working life, for better or worse. Optimistic prospect for women workers in the 90s. The role of the media and public awareness. Two opposing views of ways to solve. For some people.
Now get ready to listen to the text.
I'm really getting fed up with advertising. I must say that I think it's the most useless, costly, silly and unacceptable side of consumer society.
Well, how very reactionary of you. I think it provides a lot of useful information. And all the important discoveries have been known about thanks to advertising. In the past, only an elite could have benefited from scientific and technological progress, and now everyone can.
But it's systematically misleading. It would have us believe that, for example, a certain perfume or shampoo can transform any man into the most irresistible male on earth or the most desirable woman in the world. That you can get slim, handsome or young in 3 days, that you can transform your kitchen into a paradise, etc. It just simply doesn't represent reality.
Fine, we need those dreams. A drab society such as ours, advertising enables us to escape for a second into just this kind of dream world. I can't see anything wrong with that. If at the same time it widens markets and lowers the cost of consumer goods, creates employment and so on, generally it brings prosperity, without which you'd certainly be complaining.
I would take completely the opposite view there. Instead of, in fact, increasing prosperity, I would say that it's a socially dangerous phenomenon. For example, it increases the bitterness and frustration of those people who can't afford the products advertised. For example, in North America, if the children who sell crack in California do so, it is simply to get the money in order to buy all the things that they're promised by the wonderful world of advertising.
Yeah, but if you're in a consumer society, you by definition have choice, and advertising is simply enabling people to choose. And if for other social reasons people are choosing the wrong kind of things or using their expectations to fuel a drive for acquisition of money by drugs, well, I mean, that's another problem of society.
Well, on a completely different track. It's an extremely expensive exercise. You say that, for example, that by encouraging people to buy the products advertised, it in fact cuts production costs. Well, I would disagree, because companies spend colossal sums of money on the advertising itself. Often an advertising account represents half the price of the product you buy. Think of soaps, think of washing powders, etc. Advertising and packaging become more expensive than the product itself.
But you'd pay, say, to decorate your own house, wouldn't you? Here are companies paying, indirectly it's our money as well, through high prices, if I'm to believe your argument. Companies are paying actually to decorate our environment, and I would contend that tube stations would look really boring without advertisement.
You actually believe that the advertisements beautify our landscape? Well, I'm afraid again I have to disagree with you entirely. Landscapes and townscapes are disfigured by advertising. The magazines you read are disfigured by totally irrelevant advertisements which come between articles that you're attempting to read. Television is distorted by advertisements. A film, for example, which is conceived in its entirety to last, for example, 1 hour and 30 minutes, is cut into pieces without any regard to the artistic unity which the director attempted to present in the original film. No, advertising doesn't contribute to society in the way that you suggest, but in fact it disfigures it.
Now answer the following questions on the text.
I hate advertising. What is advertising said to provide consumers with? Advertising is said to provide us with useful reading. Advertising is said to provide useful information. Advertising is said to offer a wider choice to consumers. Who used to benefit from scientific and technological progress, and who does now? More people than in the past benefit from scientific and technological progress thanks to technological progress. Only an elite used to benefit from scientific and technological progress. Now, thanks to advertising, everyone can. Only producers used to benefit from scientific and technological progress. Now, consumers also do. What is the second accusation brought against advertising? Advertising is charged with being misleading and not representing reality. Advertising is said to be